Hey everybody, it's the Shape, and we're just going to take Shapetober all the way through into December. Going to keep it raw, old school, and debunking centric. I want to focus more on debunking than ever, like ever. Now, a question I've been asked a lot, probably I've been asked this question more than any other question I've ever. And that question is, have you ever seen any footage that you thought was real paranormal evidence that can't be debunked, that you think is proof of the paranormal? And I say unto you, I've seen clips that I couldn't necessarily debunk because, you know, I didn't have much to work with. I've seen clips that aren't staged, and I know they're not staged, but I can't say it's ghosts or paranormal. I just can say it's not staged. And that brings me to this video. And I was like, because I'm subbed to the channel, Bob Gymlan. He mostly does Bigfoot stuff. He doesn't do paranormal stuff. But he uploaded this from 2016 is when he filmed it, I think. And I was like, this could be the real deal. And I thought that for a while. Then I decided, you know what, let's go frame by frame through the whole video. And then when I did that, I got disheartened. I was like, well, this dude doesn't do paranormal videos, and I don't know that he lies. He seems pretty trustworthy. He was even on Joe Rogan a little while back, Joe Rogan's podcast, talking about Bigfoot. That's mostly what he focuses on, but this one paranormal video. So, frame by frame, red flags start popping up, one right after the other. And the more I saw it, the more disheartened I got. So I was like, man, he doesn't seem like the type that would stage a video. But, you know, a lot of them doesn't seem like the type. But after analyzing it, oh boy. Let's take a look. So, Bob Gymlan worked at a resort and a spa as a manager, night shift, when everybody's gone, back in 2016. And we're going to watch as he points out his intentions of why he's filming, decided to film there that night, and he managed to catch a shadow figure, probably the best shadow figure I've ever seen, and a full-bodied apparition. Not the kind that you could see through, that looks like a man or a woman, but solid. Even the shadow figure is solid. And before we get into the video, I want you to hold one little kernel of thought inside your brain. Always remember the cameraman's intention, no matter who it is. Framing. I want you to pay attention to the framing, because a lot can be gleaned from just looking at how somebody frames a shot. So pay attention.
Hey, I'm Bob Gymlan. Ghosts are a polarizing issue. But of course, what isn't these days? What you're looking at is a series of photos I took in 2016. Back then, I was the night manager at a hotel, actually a resort. And part of the resort was a spa, and one of my nocturnal obligations was to swing by the spa a couple times a night to make sure that it was secure. This particular night in 2016 was one of the first nights I had an iPhone. Until then, I had a BlackBerry, which was my favorite phone ever because of its lack of function. Not in spite of it. It just couldn't do all that much, which made it difficult to consume your life.
Oh my god, who the hell can—
Anyway, with my new phone, on one of my nightly rounds, I decided to randomly take pictures as I went through the spa. And in case you're unfamiliar with iPhones, you're seeing the still photo first, and then the live capture feature, which I guess is an iPhone thing where every photo has a little video accompanying it. I'm going to show every single photo alongside its little accompanying live capture thing.
Comment below if you know that iPhone feature back in 2016 to where when you snap a picture, you get the still frame and then a follow-up short video clip to go with it. I never owned an iPhone, so I couldn't speak of how that works. But the reason I'm bringing that up, a little bit later on in the video, that feature stops working all of a sudden. Not the picture, but the follow-up video. But he does, at least the first part, he catches the shadow figure in the still frame and the video clip. But the rest are still frames after that. Let's keep rolling.
Of the 118 photos I took that night at the spa, I thought there were 5 that depict an alleged apparition. But upon making this video, I discovered one more. As you can see, I'm showing all the photos, not just the ghost ones, and I'm doing that as a point of good practice, so your eyes can acclimate and make a more effective decision.
You can't tell me this spa ain't creepy at night. It probably looks beautiful in the daytime, but it's creepy.
Every time I went to the spa after closing, it felt strange. Not bad, not good, just strange. Or as I so eloquently put it at the time, just the kind of place that if you didn't know where you were going, you feel like you'd never get there. Even when you're alone.
Even when you're alone.
You never really feel like it.
Now, all fakers say one thing that I've noticed before they catch the apparition. I'm alone and like a feeling that someone else is there. Somebody's watching. Now, I've had that feeling before myself. Somebody watching and I've been alone. But you can look at it as that's the way he feels. But you could look at it, if it was staged, that this is, you guessed it, foreshadowing.
And it was definitely a little frightening. Maybe not frightening, but unnerving. And I mean just because, being alone in a big building secluded. I don't mean it was unnerving because of ghosts or anything. But I very much had the feeling that there would be someone around every corner. That's just how it felt. I never had the vibe that I was alone. Which was a bad thing, obviously, because I was supposed to be alone. And I can say with near 100% certainty that I was the only breathing human in the facility.
It's definitely a creepy place. There's not a lot of places, actually, anywhere. Once those lights get turned out, and you're just walking around with a flashlight, it's creepy. Like, you walk into a nursery, brand new nursery for a kid, the parents went all out for the kid. Brand new nursery, just the crib, everything. Turn the light out, walk back in there with just a flashlight and look at that nursery. Whole different vibe, like a whole different one. But Bob here is telling us how he felt. Didn't feel alone, something's watching, almost as if the place is crowded, yet nobody's there. Now, pay attention to everything. The framing of the camera before the ghost, the framing of the camera as we see the ghost. There's a stark difference that I noticed after going back this time and looking.
And just so you're aware, I did not notice the figures the night that I took them. Yes, this night, I had no idea that I'd captured some of the most compelling paranormal evidence that I've ever seen, personally or from anyone else. And to be completely honest with you, and this is strange, a little bit I guess, but I don't even remember when I noticed the figures in the frames. But I know it wasn't the night I took them. It must have been in the following days. Which brings us to our first apparition.
I want to be clear, I really wanted to believe that this isn't staged, this 100% real. Might not be a ghost, but it's something. The more I watched frame by frame, like I said, the more disheartened I got. It's just like, oh, my real ghost is floating away from me. I can't get a grip on it. That seems to happen very often. But when the red flags pop up, they just pop up. It's the way it is. And when you see the shadow figure, focus on where Bob is with the camera.
So first I look down this long, creepy hallway. Then I turn to go into one of the service rooms, have a look about for whatever reason. And then I get fixated on this window at the end of the hall. I take 3 photos of the window. And then one at the floor. The baseboard, maybe.
If you're new here, I would really, really like to say thank you. And also, I want to teach you a little something that most everybody else knows that's not new to debunking. It's the before and after pictures. Now, what I mean is, when a fake paranormal investigator goes in and they want like a full-bodied apparition or a mist, whatever, in their picture, what they do is they'll take a before picture to show, hey, it's not there. Then they'll do a follow-up picture and then they'll go back, and there it is. Kind of like a Midwest ghost hunter. It's what fakers do to say, well, it's not some natural phenomenon because I got a point of reference with a picture with it and a picture without it to compare. And that's what Bob here does.
So he cut away to a baseboard. I mean, was you looking for a little tiny ghost?
And I must have walked away. I'm looking at the window from a distance, but I'm heading back to it. And then here is the first of several in this sequence that seem to depict something else, to the right of the flash. And if you're not convinced, you can see it better on the live capture, and I'll replay it. Again, I didn't even notice the figure in this sequence until I started working on this video.
Now, he says he didn't see this figure, even though it's to his left and slightly behind him, as far as him in the hallway. And this figure is solid as he is. And he said he didn't see it, but look at this. That is a solid object. That's not no ghostly mist.
Us humans, or at least it's been my experience in everything I've ever analyzed on YouTube, is anytime that the camera is off center, like a girl doing a TikTok, and she's not dead center, but she's like over here, and there's a dark door back there, you know something's going to happen in that dark door. You just know it. Same thing with if I'm walking down a hallway, I'm not going to be like Bob is, way over on the left-hand side, as if I expect something to be on the right side. And that's what's happening here. You can say, oh, no, you can see it. It's not framed straight on. It's framed, he's here. It's kind of that way. Not this way, that way. Because if he was dead center, you would have a hard time seeing the shadow figure. The video function, conveniently enough, he says, quits because of low battery. So he gets still pictures, but no more video. Probably because that shadow figure is probably a test dummy, a mannequin, like a doll that he has to move himself. And he can't do that in video form. But let's keep watching.
And it's easy to think at first that this silhouette is just me, but it's not, because I'm holding the phone in front of my face. And you can even make out that there's no arm between where the figure is and the flash. Just to be clear, I'm holding the phone to my face on the left. To prove that the silhouette on the right isn't me, look at this photo from earlier, from a few photos ago. See? No figure.
Yeah, no figure, but it's also more in the center of the hallway, unlike when you caught the shadow figure over to the left. That way we have room to see the tan-colored hallway walls and the black shadow figure that is there. Also, the shadow figure doesn't move. I've watched that footage over and over. It stays dead still. The camera moves, shadow figure does nothing. And the reason I think that this is either somebody there with him playing the shadow figure, or it's a prop, a big doll or big something, a mannequin with clothes, I don't know. But later on in the video, we get to see a full-bodied apparition. And I do think I debunked this. But let's move on.
I'm the only silhouette in the picture, with the flash in front of my face. And then about 10 pictures later, in the same spot, I'm not the only figure in frame. Am I missing some? Is there some way that this is like my reflection or something that I'm completely missing? Because it kind of seems like it can't be. But it is. Then I go away. Look at some doors. So, looking at doors. But then wouldn't you know it, I end up right back in front of that window.
Well, right back in front of that window again, are we, Bob? I don't know. It's almost as if you're expecting something to happen right there.
I was alone in there. But not alone. Strangely enough, this photo is the last photo that used the live capture. After this photo, the live capture feature ended, which according to my research is a result of low battery. When low battery mode turns on, it only takes the normal still capture. But I took 6 more pictures of that window.
So, the live capture feature, the following video that follows each photo, is gone now because low battery. which if you were there by yourself and had to move your shadow figure down the hallway, you couldn't do it with the video following up each photo. So it's convenient for him, if he's faking, which he is, that he can only take photos now. So, you know, take a photo, move it down the hall, snap a photo, move it further down the hall. But let's watch. We'll see these magnificent photos.
As I'm looking at it, it sure looks like someone disappearing down the hall. I will label, blow up, and scrub. So here are the 6 photos I took after the live capture feature ended, and they're blown up to 300%. Maybe I've been looking at this for too long, but I see a figure, like, going maybe down the hall. See that? But the fact that the live feature terminated as a result of low battery.
So let me get this right. You took the exact amount of pictures perfectly to show this creature, this entity that you don't see, go all the way down the hall. Not no pictures after, but the exact right amount it took to show the animation of the entity walking from you and rounding the corner down there. What are the odds? The exact amount of pictures it would take to show the entity go down the hallway and around the corner, not one frame after at all. Even though he doesn't know it's there, I don't know, I don't buy that. There's too much of luck and coincidence it takes for that to work out exactly the way he wants. That's why I feel like it's a mannequin of some sort, and I'll show you why.
Multiple things to point out here. Luckily, he took just the right amount of photos to show it going exactly down the hall and around that corner. Lucky that he did the exact right amount to show the movement. And the angle was him far over left, so we could see it on the right going down the hall. That's just luck, I guess. Crazy. Also, I want to point out, this shadow figure is always either right beside him or behind him. It's never in front to see the reflection, because when he snapped a picture, you would see it in the camera and the reflection, and we would see that it's an inanimate doll of some sort. That's what I think. It's always beside him or behind him. You know, we don't see a video where he turns around and nothing's there. But let's keep going.
So his iPhone quit recording the follow-up video to the still frame pictures that he took because of low battery. But here's what I think happened. I think he had the function, but he couldn't do this. Take a picture, move it down the hall, go back, take a picture, move it down the hall, go back, take a picture, and move it on down the hall, and just keep doing that. No different than stop motion animation. That's how he made this mannequin go down the hall. Now, why was he at the left of the frame? Well, let me show you. When you're at the left of the frame, we can see the shadow figure go all the way down the hallway, right? As opposed to being center of the frame, look what happens. You can't see that good. You can't see it at all.
Really jives with what paranormal speculators claim about alleged spirits or entities requiring a power source to manifest. I don't feel qualified to speculate on that, but who on earth is? Now we get to the actual ghost photos that this video was actually supposed to be about. But I can't believe this.
You know what, Bob? You're right. I can't believe you caught a shadow figure. That's solid, but supposed shadow apparition. But keep in mind, guys, that wasn't the point of his video. He's got something even better than that. Now, the one thing I do want to point out is it never moves. Yeah, it moves in photos that he took. But when it's on camera, or when he's taking a photo and it's even slightly different angles, it doesn't move its arms or anything like that, legs, head. It just is. But prepare yourself. Full-bodied apparition coming.
So this is just a washed out photo. I'd just as well assumed that I had my thumb over the flash or something. And then I make my way into the lounge. But I took 16 more photos wherein the live capture is unfortunately disabled. And of those 16 photos, an obvious and apparent apparition appears in no less than 6 of them. 6 out of 16. That's 37% of the remaining photos. and the apparition you're about to see is no reflection. And right here is the first time it appears. See in the chair? Let's blow it up. I may not have even noticed this had it not been for the photos to come.
When I look at the picture, I can tell you right now that this thing is not like see-through, like energy manifesting into a full-bodied apparition. It's solid. It's there in the chair. Just like you or me or a dude or a mannequin or whatever sitting in the chair, that's what that is. It doesn't look like a man, it looks more like an alien to me. But it does have a nose, and luckily for us, we get multiple camera angles. But keep in mind, different angles, but it still does not move.
Empty chair, empty tables, fireplace, and again, same figure, same place. And here it is blown up to 300%. Here's the bar and the POS station, another of the bar, but here it is again, and blown up to 300%.
Different angles, but whatever it is sitting in that chair is not moving. Now, it looks like a person, kind of, but the flesh of the face is alien colored. You can see dark black sunken in eyes, but you can see a regular human looking nose. Very few of you might remember that guy that claimed that he recorded an alien spacecraft. It ripped his dog in half. He clobbered it, took it home. I think he put it in the refrigerator. And he recorded himself doing an autopsy. And the way that alien looks sitting on that aluminum foil, that's what this kind of reminds me of. I don't know why that comes to mind, but that's what it looks like to me. Oh, and that alien guy's footage turned out to be a hoax. Moving on.
I know this is too much. I really do. Then the fireplace again, and then the figure again, and blown up to 300. This looks like its neck is twisted or broken.
You can look at the furniture and tell that its neck ain't broken. It's just motion blur of the camera moving. See how good the furniture looks here? And it's not blurry. And here as well, I tweaked the contrast a bit, but it still looks clear. This looks fairly clear as well. Now look at the chairs in this one. It's grainy and blurry because motion blur.
No, Bob. The head isn't broken. It's blur because you moved the camera back to it, and you probably just, when you snapped the picture, you was slightly moving it. That's all that is.
Then the bar, and then of course, as is dictated by the nature of things, my very last photo of the night. That right there, has eye shine. For the longest time, I thought this was the only ghost photo from the night, to be honest. It wasn't until some time later that I noticed that the same figure is in several pictures, and then it wasn't until I started making this video that I noticed the figures in the window. Do ghosts have eye shine?
Now, I can't speak to whether ghosts have eye shine, kind of like animals, but camera flashes do reflect off windows. You know, much like the camera you're using in your hand to snap the picture. Because that's what that is. That's a camera flash.
I was alone, on paper at least. Really, the only explanation I have for this, other than the paranormal, is that someone was silently in that chair, and I didn't notice. But I don't believe that for a moment. Not a single second. Not for a single second do I think an employee or forest person snuck in there and I didn't notice. If that was just a person, I would have noticed them, and it would have scared the absolute stuff out of me. I'd assume you'd be the same way, but trust me when I say that being the only person in a rather creepy facility at midnight, my senses were heightened. There's literally no way I wouldn't have noticed a person sitting 10 to 15 feet away. You know, I was quite alert for anything amiss, as a matter of self-preservation. And it was no Halloween decoration or anything like that. This place is pretty high-end.
Man, I so wanted to believe that this is real. So when I tell you I'm disheartened, I really am. Because I'm sub to Bob Gymlan. I've supported this guy for a few years now. So, believe it or not, I got a conscience. And it pains me to point out these red flags. But if I didn't do it and I was biased, I wouldn't be doing my job. So, at the end of the video, I'm going to show you why I think it's staged. And it does pain me to say that. But man, it looks creepy. And it looks like probably what a ghost would look like. I'm assuming. It is unsettling. But there's too many red flags.
I was the manager on duty. Short of maintenance, I was the only person on the property with the keys to the spa. The spa was only open 9 to 5, I think. To this day, these photos make the hair on my neck stand up. I'm not keeping the vicinity a secret. The resort is called Heidel House in Green Lake, Wisconsin. I worked there as both an associate and later as a manager. I like to think that maybe I made a friend, and whoever this fellow is, maybe he was a fellow night owl. Maybe he just liked my company. I don't really care if you believe it. Or if you believe me, I should say. Honestly, I hope you do.
Yeah, so unfortunately I do think he staged this, and it pains me to say that, like I said. But there's just too many red flags. When he's in the hallway catching the shadow figure, he's not where a normal person would be standing to take pictures of the window. Most people would stand in the middle. He stands to the left. That allows us just enough to see the shadow figure go all the way down the hall.
Once again, Bob stood on the left-hand side of the window so we could see the reflection on the right side go down the hallway. Had he been in the middle of the window, it would have disappeared behind him and we couldn't see the still frames of it disappearing. Before the ghost, look how dead center of the hallway he is. This is before the spirit. He is dead center of the hallway, dead center of the window as well. But when the ghost comes, look how far over to the left of the window he is. And every single time the shadow figure appears, he's way over to the left, as if he's expecting something to be over to the right.
Inconveniently enough, the video feature of the phone quits when it requires this thing to move. So if you had a video, how are you going to make a mannequin move when it takes the picture and then the video? You'd have to be like Flash Gordon. I don't think the feature stopped. I just think he just started snapping pictures because that's the only way he can move it down the hall. That would make sense. Also, that shadow figure is the very thing that's sitting in that chair. It's darker, but one's in light and the other's in a darker part. And you can see the nose of the shadow figure, the weird shaped head, and it matches whatever it is that's sitting in that chair.
Oh, you don't believe it's a perfect match? Well, let's copy this shadow's exact shape and move it over to this thing right here and see if they are the exact same shape of the head. Let's zoom in close. Wow. Would you take a look at that? Now let's do it vice versa. Let's copy that thing and bring it over to the shadow figure. My goodness, man. It's almost as if I'm too good. I think that's worth a like and subscribe and a hype.
Could it have moved? Sure. But it could also be the same prop that he's using to make his ghost. Boy, it pains me. Really does. Bangers on the way, folks. Shapetober the rest of the year. Christmas is coming too, my second favorite. Now, join the Bunkers Anonymous on Facebook. Love you guys, appreciate you. Oh, another thing I wanted to point out. I know here lately I've been either kind of skirting the edge of debunking or just more reacting. I mean, I've done debunking, but I've also been skirting around it. But I just don't want to be too repetitive. I don't want you guys to be like, oh, another debunking video over and over and over. And I just don't want to be that repetitive. But I haven't done it in a while. So I'm like, you know what? They come here to see debunking. That's what we're doing. And that's going to be full throttle. A lot of videos up until June of next year. Next 6 months. To see where we're at. But yeah, I wanted to tell you guys that I appreciate you. Of course. Oh yeah. And about as far as I don't mind drama. And I know what the popular talking points are. You know, in the paranormal community, Conjuring, Sam and Kobe. I know all that stuff. It's popular. Gets the clicks. And I know you probably never heard of Bob Gymlan. I like doing, you know, channels we haven't heard of. I know Sam and Kobe's fake. I know Really's Haunted is fake. I don't need to make a video all the time on the same people over and over because I know it's more popular, it gets more clicks. My job is to debunk anybody I see that's possibly faking, whether they have 1 subscriber or 10 billion. Join Debunkers Anonymous on Facebook. I love you guys, appreciate you. And I'll see you in the next video. Y'all come back now, you hear? Peace.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear DJ. Better late than never. Love ya.